Hi everyone. In this video, I'm going to show you a PNP SPFx sample that I have submitted to the community. So this sample is basically a room booking application built entirely in SPFx. So you might aware about the PowerS application that I have developed for room booking a couple of years back. I wanted to add one sample in the community as well. So I thought why not to make it in SPFx. So this sample is completely live and ready for testing and use. So I will share the link of that sample in the description. And in this video, I'm going to show you how it is working and what kind of things that you have to take care while using this. What are the limitations, what are the demo, etc. Okay. So coming toward the demo directly. So this is the room booking sample. You can add it as a web part in your SharePoint. When you log in here, you will see three tabs: book a room, my bookings and admin. Admin is only visible to those members whose email ID we will configure in the property pane. So if I edit this web part, in that you will find a property called admin emails. So whatever email you have to write here, you can write it comma separated. So currently it is my email only. So user who logged in, and if they have the same email mentioned here, they will see the admin tab. As you can see, currently it is only my email. I have logged into another user as well, so that it will be very helpful for the demo, like to see how things are working. So another user is called John. So currently their email is not mentioned in the admin, so that's why it's not able to see the admin tab. Basically in the admin interface, we are just showing all the bookings. Now the one of the important thing you have to note here, that we are using a SharePoint list to store the booking details, because whatever rooms are booking here, they are stored in the user's calendar, right? And those calendar are not shared with everyone, so that I cannot access someone else's calendar data until and unless I have specific access to it, right? To read other user mailbox. To simplify this process, what I did is introduced a SharePoint list. So whatever bookings will be done here, they are storing into two places. The first place is our Outlook calendar, and the second place is our SharePoint room booking detail list. This list will be accessible to admin. We can configure the permission according to needed, but the permission part you will not find in that code. This is something that you have to do manually. Then you can book a room. So here we'll have the meeting name. By default, the meeting name will be like this: room booking by whatever the username is here. If I switch to another user, their name will appear here. Then you have to select a date. Now currently, as you can see, there is only one date picker, so that a room can be booked only for a single day. So today is Sunday, 12th April. Then we have the start time. So here, whatever the current time is, it is showing the time after that. So currently the system time is 10:45 a.m. Now it is showing from the 11 a.m. only. So that previous time you cannot select. That kind of validation that I have applied here. So I can select a time. Let's say end time also you will see after this time only, right? So end time, let's say I can see 12 p.m. And if I click search room, you will see the total duration of it. You can search the rooms. If you are having many rooms, you will see this, and then you will have all these kind of cards. Now the important thing to note here, from where you can add this room. Do we have to add it in SharePoint, or where should we add it? So to adding these resources, you must have the admin permission to the Exchange admin or a global admin. So for this, what you have to do, you have to go to Exchange Admin Center. Then under resources, click on add a room resource. When I click on it, you can fill all the general information, and after you fill it, don't expect that the room that you have added will instantly visible there. It takes some time. In my case, it took almost 4 to 5 hours, but yes, maximum you have to wait it for 12 hours if not appearing. Okay, so that is not something you add a room and at the next second you will see it here. Okay, so you have to wait for some time. As you can see here, for every room we have these details, like how many seats available, wheelchair accessible or not. These are the tags, right? These are the devices. So from where we can add this? So it is here only. in the Exchange Admin Center, if you go and if you add any room, then here you will find the room name address. That is not something that we can customize after creating this room, but here you can go manage resource details. Here you can add all the things, okay? And then for the additional information, here you can add the tags, right? Here wheelchair accessible or not, then audio device name, display device name, video device name, right? These names you can add. Tags also you can add it like this, comma separated. The reason I did comma separated because I wanted to show kind of fields like this, okay? That's why I added there. And all the response you get in a JSON format from the API, that I will also show you how we are getting this response. And the code is already with you, so you can follow along with me. Now here you will see the tags called available and busy. So currently there is no one booked these rooms for this selected time. That's why all the rooms are available for me. Now let's say if you want to book a specific room. So let's say I want to book the room B. I can create on book room. You have to wait because it will automatically refresh. You don't have to refresh here. Okay. So now I booked a room B for 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Now it should visible in my calendar. If you see here, that room is appearing here. You see the location is set to room B. The email ID is here. Room booking by Swami. Okay. The subject is completely customizable. The reason why I did this because there might be some meeting that you don't want to disclose to admin or any other people, right? So you can have it like this. In the detail also you can customize this. So here as you can see booked via SPFx room booking and all the default information is here when you create a Microsoft Teams meeting. Now if you see here when I booked a room it shows busy. Now let's see what happened in the SharePoint list. If I go here and if I refresh this, you will see that entry has got added. Room booked, all these are text, date, and single line of text column, duration is minute in number. And in the status, this is a choice column. Here we have the booked and the cancelled status. Okay. Now don't worry. In that PNP SPFX sample, I have included every single detail as possible, like whatever the SharePoint list that you have created, then what are the columns, what are their types. Okay. So it will help you a lot. Now, if I go here, if I click on admin, you will see that data is get added here. Okay. So by some cases, let's say there is an issue, you don't see the updated result, you can just click on the refresh and it will fetch the latest data from the list. Okay, but this is just a additional thing I added. Now switching back to another user called John, and let's see what happen if John try to book the same room for the same time. I will select the time, I will search for the room. Now as you can see for the John as well, the room B is saying busy because it is already booked by myself. So that room is booked for 11 to 12. Okay, so it should available after 12 p.m. Okay, so let's do this. As you can see 12 to 12:30 that room is available. Okay, so what I will do, I will book a room or let's say recreational area and I will book this room. The reason you see there is no detail because I have added this for testing and I forgot to include all this detail. That's why you see it is blank. Okay, now if I go to John's calendar, you will see the room is booked for 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. Okay, and in this list as well I should be able to see that exact same entry. Okay, so this is how you can book a room. Now the second thing is my booking section. Under my bookings you will see all the booking that is created by you only. So currently I'm logged in, so it doesn't matter if you have admin permission or not, you can see only the booking that you have created. Okay, the only difference is my bookings are fetching the data from the calendar, admin is fetching from the data from the SharePoint list. Okay, so you will see the room that is booked by you, the date, the time and everything, the room and the join button. So once you click on it, you will directly jump to that meeting and you will directly join it. Then we have three options: change date and type, change room, and the delete booking. So first let's see change date and time. If you click on it, you will see it is locked for the room B because we are not changing a room. We are just keeping the same room. We are just changing date and time. Okay. So I can select any future time, let's say from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. I can check the availability. You see the room B is available for the selected time. And let's say if any other user booked this same room for the same selected time, you will see the message that you cannot book this room, right? So the reason is it is already booked by someone else, right? So now if everything is done, I can just click on update booking and I can go to my calendar and you will see that meeting is shifted from 12 to 15 for this time. Okay. So this is how you can change the date and time. Second option is how we can change the room. I will refresh this, let's say. Now time and the date is locked because we are changing the room. You cannot make edits to anything here. Okay. Now what I will do, all these rooms are available for the selected date and time. So you don't have to click on some button to fetch the latest result. Okay. So let's say I want to book a room C. Let's say I want to book a recreational area. If I click on change room, let's go to Outlook calendar. As you can see, it changed from room B to recreational area. You see, and in the SharePoint list as well, we should see the exact same one, recreational area. Okay. So completely in a sync pattern, you don't have to update manually anywhere. Okay. And the last one is how we can cancel the booking. So canceling is just like deleting that meeting, simple. So if I click on delete, it will ask me a confirmation. If I said okay, then that meeting will get deleted from my calendar. Okay. Still you see here, you just have to refresh it and you won't see it. Okay. Now coming back to the another user, under my bookings as well, you see this room is booked by John. That's why it is appearing here because I logged in as a John. Then the same options will be available here. Okay. Now the important part is this is something that I have faced in this API. So when you book a room, let's say, and let me just select anything. So if I book a room A, okay. So now what happened behind the scene is some APIs are calling and we are getting the status of it, right? So if multiple users, so let's say if two or three users trying to book the same room at the same time, there will be a conflict because this is not the instant update I can say here because when you book a room, there is a 2 or 3 minute delay. This is what I observe, right? In that time, the other users will also can book this meeting. Okay. So this is a very rare chances, but yes, this limitation I have already documented here. So let me show you. See, this is something that when you add a room, that is part, and the one will be here. Yes. After room is booked, data may take some short time to reflect the latest booking. Okay. The 2-3 minutes, this is something that I have added. Okay. That I have observed. So during this window, room may still appear as available for a few minutes. Okay. So if you want a very precise time, what you can do, instead of fetching the availability from the calendar, you can fetch it from the SharePoint list, right? Because in that list we have the date also and start time and end time. So what you can do, you can check the rooms, get the room from this Outlook also and check the latest status of there. Okay, but I think this is a very rare case, but yes, obviously you can customize it according to your need. And then in the my booking section you will see a button called dev kill switch. So this is for the development purpose only. I will not recommend you to use this button anywhere in the production. What this button is doing, because let's say as a developer we do a lot of testing, we end up creating lots of SharePoint entries and lots of dummy calendar. Okay, so what this button is doing is when I click on it, it will get all the meetings from my calendar. Okay, and then it will delete it. Same goes to the SharePoint list. Okay, so let's say what I will do, I will click on this. So it is basically completeless cleanup, right? So it will delete all the bookings from my Outlook calendar, and it will delete all the entries from the SharePoint. Okay, so this is for purely for the development purpose, and this is not something that you should use in the live applications. Okay, and if I go here, this is now admin. Okay, so that's why admin is not visible. But yes, that is also button. Like if we think about deleting those entry manually, it will take a lot of time for you and for us as well to do some testing and everything. Okay, that's why I added this button. Now coming toward the prerequisites. So here the first one, SharePoint app catalog is configured in your tenant. Then this application uses Microsoft Graph Place API. Okay, so when you deploy this solution, you will have to grant the permission to the SharePoint APIs. Sorry, the Microsoft Graph APIs in the SharePoint Admin Center. So from where you can do this, go to SharePoint Admin Center. Under Advanced, you will see API Access, and here you will find the APIs here. Okay, so currently I have added and accepted those API. That's why it is not longer visible. Then once you download this zip file, you just have to use a npm install. You will see what kind of node version that I am using, so you can use the exact same one. Then a SharePoint list is must. So currently in that code, the list provisioning is not added. I will add in future, but yes, currently you have to create a SharePoint list manually. These are the internal column name. You have to exact same name. These are the column type and the nodes. Okay, so only in the status column you have to use this kind of status. Then if you edit this web part, and here you will have to add that SharePoint list ID. I'm not using the SharePoint title, I'm using the list ID. Here you have to add it. If you don't, then whatever the bookings you are adding, it will only add to Outlook, not the SharePoint list. Here you will see the SharePoint list and the admin emails. And these are the permission that you have to add in the code. Okay, so I have added the permission and the reason of it. And main is place dot read dot all, so it is getting all the places. Calendar is using because we are adding and updating the calendar info, right? And mailbox setting is required in order to perform in a various time zones. Okay, you can download this, you can clone this, and if you are having any issue, you can always let me know. And the major important part I have covered here is the time zone. But still, if you face anything like it is not working for some users from a certain time zone, just let me know in comments and I'll be happy to check it and I will improve this sample. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you are having any additional feedback, just let me know and I'll be happy to use it. Thank you.